Beautiful soul who deserves to thrive. Welcome to Thriver TV. And before I get started on this little episode, make sure that you subscribe and you hit the notification button and share and like this video. Okay, so cognitive dissonance, what is it and how does it lead to being narcissistically abused? I just want to cut straight to the chase about cognitive dissonance. Because to me, what it really is we're not listening to our soul. And what I mean by that is we've got something screaming inside of us. We've got pain, we've got trauma. We know things aren't right. Our life's breaking down, our sanity, our health, our finances, our life. And yet we're making up reasons to continue on with what is going on with us. So this is why, really, the bottom line is we're selling out our soul. But why are we doing this? We're doing this because we want to hang on to a version of things the way that we wish it was, that we want it to be. So it could be the love that we want, the happy family that we want, the lifestyle that we want, the house that we want, the future that we want. And yet what we're missing is that by going against our soul, which is our emotions screaming at us, we actually end up losing everything that we wanted. We forfeit it. So let me put it into simple examples of how we do cognitive dissonance. So you could be with somebody who's really abusive, and I did this as well. And the stories that we say to ourselves, our reasons, our justifications go like, I know he had a shocking childhood. Not everybody's perfect. I really hope that if I just love him more, or if I look a lot at me, or I change what I'm doing, or I twist myself into another shape in another way, maybe I'm going to break through. Maybe there is going to be a way to fix this. Or we could have the cognitive dissonance of, I'm feeling this so powerfully when I leave this person that I miss them and that I'm hurting. It must be love. I must be meant to fix this. Even though upon going back and breaking no contact time and time again, things just get worse. The cycle of violence intensifies. The blow-ups happen more regularly, they're more dramatic, they're more drastic. And we're getting abused more and more, and we lose more and more, but yet we're still in the game. So why do we do this? So much of it is programming that we've come to put an emphasis on things in our life, such as our security, somebody loving us, somebody approving of us, and hanging on to what we think is going to be our survival. So it's a disempowerment of ourselves, and a huge lesson through narcissistic abuse when we get through the cognitive dissonance of the hanging on to what's destroying us. The huge lesson in Thriver Recovery is all about taking back our sovereignty and our health to become our own source of love, approval, security, and survival, with the healthy aspects of life that aren't controlling and that aren't abusive and aren't sucking our soul dry for their own benefit, which is why it felt so wrong in our body. The cognitive dissonance is very, very tricky. We have layers upon layers of beliefs in cognitive dissonance, which is, what will people think of me if I go against the grain, and if I stand up, and if I say no, and if I leave? What are others going to say? Especially when you may have a narcissist who's very capable of smearing and twisting facts and making you look like the bad person. Or we may believe that marriage is for life, and that can be a belief that will cause us to have a life sentence and maybe even a death sentence if we stay. And surely our soul and God is not getting this wrong with screaming at us from the God within, from our emotional connection to source, that this is so wrong. Surely a benevolent, loving creator wouldn't sentence us to something that is so assaulting to our soul. But yet, we make up the reasons, which are powerful layers of beliefs to stay. And maybe it was our church, or maybe it was our family, and maybe it was their beliefs that you just make your marriage work. That could be a cognitive dissonance. And maybe our cognitive dissonance because we've been gaslighted so much that we believe it's our fault. We've been blamed. And everything is screaming at us how unhealthy and how abusive this is. But yet this voice in our head says, well, it's me. I'm the one who's defective. I'm the one that's wrong. I'm the one that needs help. And yet the help that we need is to wake up out of the trance and pull away. And yes, we need healing and we need help and we need to get better. But coming out of the trance takes us away from the stove that's continually burning us. And then a big part of cognitive dissonance is also the peptide addiction. It is literally physiological. And you may want to look up my stuff on peptide addiction because it's so pivotal in understanding your recovery. But what it really means is that peptide addiction is our cells get used to a particular chemical that our hypothalamus is creating in our brain, which relates to an emotion. So something like betrayal, injustice, infidelity, very powerful emotions, despair, even hatred that we have as a result of the injustices. So all of the powerful emotions that we are experiencing as our perception of events sends off an electrical signal to the hypothalamus, which is the chemical manufacturing plant in our brain that creates a chemical peptide that comes into the cells of our body, and our cells of our body get literally addicted to that chemical cocktail. It doesn't matter that it's a bad, painful emotion that feels like a sucker punch in your body, or like white hot shock, or like a black thick ink. Those horrible, horrible feelings we feel with nasty, shocking emotions. And you know you felt them. And that is the literal chemical going into the cells of your body. So this is why we break no contact. This is why we say, I just need accountability and resolution with this person. That's a cognitive dissonance. I need to get an answer. I need to get something from them, even though you know every time you go in to try to get that, you end up with more of a need because you get more the exact opposite and you just get more abused. But that's the cognitive dissonance. It's literally physiologically driven. There's so many parts to cognitive dissonance where you do say to yourself, I'm an intelligent person. Why can't I get it through my head? This person is no good for me. Why do I keep looking for another angle to fix this, even though I know every single time I try to do that, it just ends up worse? Why am I doing this to myself continuously? That's the kind of insanity that goes with our cognitive dissonance, but yet we feel like we can't stop it. I want to give you some really good news about cognitive dissonance. You can stop it. And how you do stop it is to come back to your soul and do the healing and get well on the inside of your soul, because it's actually there that is the seat of your truth where you can rewire and refabricate yourself back to your soul truth, which is a connection to creation, creator, source, God, whatever you want to call your higher power, your superconscious that heals what we can't. And through that connection of true source, when you start healing that up, you know that your soul is never for sale. with excuses or fabrications or even reasons. Your soul is never for sale for some pipe dream or for some crumbs of love, or to hang on to the bricks and mortar, or to hang on to a job or some hope of a future or a security. Because the thing is, when you're in cognitive dissonance and you're going along to try to get along and you're acquiescing to a narcissist to try to get some freedom and some happiness and some joy, you're actually never going to get freedom, happiness, and joy. What you get is simply some bestowed privileges. And they're actually not healthy privileges at all. You know, what you think you're getting with your house or your future or the love from this person. Because when you're connected to an abuser, it's so conditional. And these bestowed privileges, they can be adapted. They can be taken away. The rug can be pulled out from within you, or the bar can be raised where you need to hand over more of your freedoms and more of your soul and more of your life force to try to hang on to some of these bestowed privileges, which are really all garnered to the narcissist's benefit, not yours. So I really, want to speak to you from my heart to yours, because I've been there and I did it and I lived that life. And I was massively in cognitive dissonance, massively. And it was really interesting because in cognitive dissonance, when people around me were seeing the truth and I'd talk to them about him, and I'd make all of these excuses and I would say it over and over and over to them. And I remember once somebody said to me, she said, "Are you trying to convince me or are you trying to convince yourself?" She was right. I was trying to convince myself because I wanted that version of life that I wanted. But after breaking away and coming within and healing the Thrive Away and honoring my soul and connecting to true source, I now have my freedom, I have my sovereignty, I have my soul, and I have generated and created for real my dreams. Who I want to be, what I want to experience, who I want in my life. The expansion, the prosperity, the sincerity, the dreams, they're real now because they're coming from a real place. So if this is resonating with you, if this is helping you understand these deeper truths, and you want to take it further, you want to come out of the trance, as I did and thousands of others in this community have, and you want to come over to this side, to your soul truth, out of the pain into true freedom and love and joy and creation, then I can't recommend NARP enough to you, which is the system that I created to get people out of peptide addiction and cognitive dissonance and into their power and take back your soul, your sanity in your life. Then check out the link with this video. And as always, I'm going to really look forward to your comments and your questions. And I hope that this has spoken to your soul today, because that was my intention. All right. Lots of love from me to you. Bye-bye.